Hello, I started long-term visual retention in early 2018. My last relapse was in February 2022. As I write this, I am on a 1.51-day streak since the start of retention. I have left a relationship, found a new partner, gotten married, quit a job, and found success in music. I have started new hobbies and have significantly improved my life since becoming an adult. Observations number 1, I have more energy, need less sleep, and can focus longer on a single task. Number 2, I'm also much more aggressive and experience feelings of my inner masculinity has made me very proactive. I broke up with a partner, found a new one, got married and quit my job. I feel like I've developed an energy I didn't have before. I feel more courageous, aggressive, strong and confident. My face looks better if I watch some videos taken in 2018 and compare them to today. I notice it looks younger. I had tired cheeks and a darker complexion under my eyes. I looked very tired. I'm very tired now. My face has filled out a bit, and I look younger when looking at old photos. My partner even agrees that I look healthier than before. 4th, my eyes are sharper. I've also noticed in my old photos that my eyes look particularly stronger. I feel this in my interactions with others as well. I can look into their eyes longer. I no longer feel self-conscious like I did when I communicated after being released. I think a lot of this is due to my eyes. They have a strength and power that wasn't there before. Before that, it was difficult to express, but I imagine that others who have been through this experience know this feeling well. 5th, some friendships and relationships have ended of my own free will. I ended some friendships and relationships after a good period of time. This may have been related to my more aggressive and proactive behavior, which emerged while I was a caregiver. Following my breakup with my partner, I met a new partner who eventually became my wife. I wonder if this would have happened if I hadn't created Semen. After keeping my partner for years after my release, I never had the courage to leave him. I found this courage shortly after I began retaining Sean. I understood that the ancestral link between testicles and courage was not only allegorical, but physiological. 6th, I also left friends because I felt we had grown apart, and I have absolutely no regrets about it. I feel like it helped me start a new chapter in my life. 7th, I developed a more intense mental activity. I became very active in my thoughts and began to make new plans. What I was going to try and the new skills I was going to acquire. In 2018, shortly after starting my braces, I decided to start reading again. I collected many books on topics that interested me and read a lot of them. It opened my mind to new ideas and topics. I found it very stimulating, and it helped me start this YouTube channel, among other projects that would never have happened if I hadn't started my braces. 8th, my teeth have improved. I don't know how to prove it, although my last 7 years without braces have been very rewarding. Cavities after a long period of cavities and root canals are enough proof for me to believe it. I haven't had any dental problems since I started. My teeth are in great shape, and the few times I've seen a dentist, I didn't have any problems before. I often had sensations from root canals and other dental problems. For the past 7 years, my teeth have been in great shape. My hypothesis is that maintaining good nutrition helps improve the nutrition of my teeth. There's nothing to confirm or deny this, but I think it has something to do with Mr. Number 9's musical success. I've had a few. I've been making music for 19 years and never had much success. Shortly after, my song was featured in a commercial with a world-famous K-pop star. I also released a song with one of the best DJs in the world. What led to these events was the extra work I put into my music and marketing. Thanks to the extra energy and time I had after quitting masturbation, this significantly increased my productivity, and the results started to show. This was a major sign that things were moving in the right direction. Issue 10 of Retain gave me the initiative to shake things up. I bought a microphone and started this YouTube channel. I knew nothing about video on the audio. If you watch my first video, it was just a black screen with a circle inside. But with each new video, I learned more about editing, recording, photo editing, and other skills. Before Retain, I never really wanted to branch out into new areas. I focused solely on music, which was stagnating. I immersed myself in reading, and with each new discovery, I wrote down and applied it to my own experiences. After 2 years, I published a book rich in information. All of this intense effort for this book stemmed from retention number 11. My relationships greatly improved. I worked with several clients each day, and during this retention, I found I had more energy to devote to our interactions. I believe this benefited those relationships. Some clients became strongly attached to me during this time, and I feel like it's also because I've gotten better at not holding back. I think lustful thoughts linger in the back of the mind and cause a certain distraction or general discomfort felt by other participants in the conversation. I also think that giving in to exhaustion has a negative effect on interactions. The difference in interactions after holding back was very noticeable. Number 12. I was approached more when I went out. I ran into more people. I remember being stopped twice in 20 minutes in the city by people asking me questions. I remember an older woman talking to me at the train station for no apparent reason, and other similar situations that never seemed to happen before. Perhaps I seemed more approachable. Number 13. I also noticed more eye contact from the opposite sex, a phenomenon I'm always very aware of, especially on the bus or train when another woman is around. I felt like they were looking at me a lot more, and I also felt like I was turning around. I think holding on to that fear of looking at strangers was almost like a relief from shame or guilt. I've had better dating luck and found a new partner shortly after breaking up with my old partner. I have to say I've also experienced more aggression from some colleagues with whom I didn't get along. It seemed like these difficult relationships escalated on my 14th date. I started my single life living alone, and after 1,000 days, I'm married and living with my partner. How much of this was due to the natural progression of life, and how much to see on retention? Hard to say, but after 20 years of relationships before, Sion, the withholding never led to marriage, so the fact that things happened so soon after it started makes me think. Semen's withholding played a role. To get into specifics, in 2018, I was living alone and had a girlfriend I wasn't particularly happy with. This was largely due to her behavior around other men. After Sean's withholding started, I got fed up, became more assertive, and broke up with her. She cried a little, and that was it. I never saw her again. I'm sure the initiative came from the withholding. It gave me a sense of aggression I'd never really felt before. It pushed me to make changes in my life, and even though I had no idea what was going to happen next, I felt like I was heading in the right direction. Number 15, my skin improved. I'd always had seasonal eczema since I was a teenager. It would clear up for a while, then come back with redness on my cheeks and forehead. I don't know if this is a direct result of MR, but since I started, my redness has reduced significantly. I've also stopped eating out, so I spent a lot of time withholding semen and cooking my own meals, so that might have something to do with it. I also stopped eating bread, and I think that plays a role, but again, I feel like these lifestyle changes stem from the energy and motivation gained from abstaining and conserving my sexual energy. Number 16. I've been so lucky since I started withholding, finding the right partner, moving, getting musical opportunities, finding ways to quit my job and work for myself. Amazing things have started happening to me. When I got rid of masturbation, I don't pretend to know everything about reality, but I do know that something changed in my life trajectory by holding back. I feel like I wasn't wasting nature's efforts, and that, in a way, nature was putting me on a better path. Something truly magical happened in my life as a result of this holding back, and I've heard of similar things happening to others. Number 17. Stress and anxiety were removed. Life seemed so much heavier after the release. I often feel like after every release, there was a kind of cloud of fatigue or heaviness. There were times when I would lose focus for a day or two. I particularly noticed this during conversations at work, as I had to be careful not to appear too distracted in front of my superiors. I felt a kind of distraction or lack of concentration. I think it also sapped the energy from many of my client interactions. I didn't pay much attention to it over the years, but I think I became aware of it subconsciously because when I started reading about seafarer retention, something inside me changed. My mind clicked as if my suspicions were correct. Not that I openly suspected masturbation, or sex as the cause, at least not at that moment. Number 18, I became more adventurous. I felt like I was going on adventures, getting out, moving, and exploring new places. I started hiking more. I even went on a solo hike, which was a little scary but exciting. It took me out of my comfort zone and gave me a heady feeling, one I hadn't felt in years. I went on about 3 or 4 solo hikes, staying in the mountains and at the beach. Houses, something inside me wanted to go out and explore. I felt more like a child again than I had in decades. This all coincided with the onset of human retention, and I guess a hormonal change is what changed my thinking. In this way, when I was a child, I wasn't constantly occupied with thoughts of lust, and for the first time in decades, I was back to that state. Number 19, my breathing problems stopped around this time of winter. I was often short of breath. This was especially aggravated by drinking coffee in the cold weather, and perhaps this is accompanied by eczema or flaking, as mentioned above. I haven't had any since I started water retention in 2018. It was never life-threatening. It's just a problem that started in my teens or 20s and persisted through many winters. Maybe I just grew out of it, or maybe the energy retention improved my fitness. I can't confirm either of these with certainty though, since my skin and breathing problems disappeared as soon as the water retention began. I imagine there's a connection, but I'll try not to check it. I'm not speaking too strongly about this point as it's just my feeling. I have no evidence to support this point other than anecdotal. Experience number 20, intuition. I feel more in tune with other people's thoughts. I always had an idea of how other people felt about me during our interactions, but these feelings became quite strong in Sean's retention. As I mentioned, I felt more aggressive to act on impulses. I had strong feelings about other people and positions. I was in with no real logical explanation. This has caused me to leave a relationship, quit a job, I only make good friendships. I even quit music after 19, which for some strange reason feels like the best decision I've ever made. Starting this channel was also a spur of the moment. Much of my reasoning skills were overridden by intuition, which once followed only improved my results. Of course, this is another somewhat abstract benefit, as I can't empirically verify it, but I feel like a large part of this radical change in my life happened precisely when I started holding back from 21. The euphoria I felt when feeling the benefits of Sean's retention also led me to give up other things that were negatively affecting my life. I stopped eating bread, which may have also improved my skin problems. I stopped drinking coffee. I stopped eating out, or at least limited them to twice a month instead of 4 times a week, as I used to. Embarking on retention was the starting point for many other good decisions. Once you embark on retention, you start to feel like a new, cleaner person. A weight is lifted. There is no more guilt, or the impurity of lustful thoughts has been eliminated. Life seems purer, and I feel more comfortable with myself. I accept that this may simply be due to aging, but the enriching experiences I've had since mastering this feeling have led me to believe